Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Hasbanillah wa ni'mal wakeel. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows, and surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Johnny's Bite. Today is Wednesday. And I usually get very spirited on Wednesdays because I always say this. The president and I were born on Wednesdays. And Wednesday borns are known to be very, very strong and passionate and dedicated and determined and forward-looking and all of those attributes. And this morning, I have come to talk about a matter that we raised here sometime last year. And when we spoke about that particular issue, we were told that we are anti-government. The same issues that we spoke about, which we were told were anti-government, is now the same issues that government itself and its functionaries are dealing with and admitting that there's a problem. The problem that we saw a long time ago, it either means two things: that they knew the problem and they decided to play politics and propaganda with it, or that they didn't know the problem and they are now knowing about the problem. Because we raised the questions, the people within the agricultural space, the stakeholders in there, CSOs and all of that, they corroborated the things we were saying here. And I've always said that there are things that you don't politicize. Agric is number one for me. Security, economy, education, those things cannot, energy, you cannot politicize them. Today, children are in school and they can't find food to eat. And when you mention it, I remember vividly when, before free SHS would actually be introduced, after Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo had gone to BBC, we asked him about cost and the conversation about Heritage Fund and where we're going to fund free SHS from. Mind you, I have said that free SHS is a good initiative. And it is a good initiative because I know that in this country, our history books will show, as I've shown you in the Ahoy's book, that people above 60, people in their 70s, people in their 80s, in this country, went to school for free, got fed 3 times a day for free plus snack, and on every Wednesday, they got a full dinner, even at the university level. That's after they had gone to primary school, middle school, secondary school, and then gone to the university. They got it. Lebi, shwane, beke, breakfast, lunch, supper, with snack, every day, unfailingly. In fact, at some point, even at the universities, they had occasion to go on a strike and a demonstration because they had been fed too much chicken, and they said they lived by the coast, they wanted fish. It happened in this country. But today, our children are in school, in the secondary schools. And sometimes when you listen to the explanations, it hurts you because this is a child rights issue. How is it that you tell parents that don't take care of anything, I'll take care of everything, against even the man who sits and disburses the public purse, Mr. Ken Ofori-Atta? He mentioned that, look, let's try and look at those who can pay for free SHS and let's extrapolate that number so we can take care of the rest who cannot afford it. We said no. Then he pulled up that a news item for me where Dr. Osei Aduchum, President Minister for Education, this is it. He says, free SHS, Ofori-Atta's opinion, not government policy. This is what he said a long time ago. He says, Deputy Minister for Education has said Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta spoke as a parent when he suggested that the free SHS policy must be implemented discriminatorily so that those who have the means are made to pay for their children's second cycle education. According to him, what Mr. Ofori-Atta said is not a policy statement. That's his personal opinion. He spoke on an interview with CTFM, blah, blah, blah. Now, when Mr. Ofori-Atta asked for this, we said it was his opinion. Today, Dr. Osei Aduchum is the boss. Mind you, while he was deputy, he was in charge of free SHS. Now he's the boss overseeing everything. Has the tone changed? Because I remember that when we went to pediatrics and we got back, we said that, oh, we're possibly going to look at a review. What does that review mean? Cancellation as the politics we played. You see why it's not good to play politics with education? And we all know the essence of nutrition and education. We all know the essence of nutrition and education. So that you need to eat well for your brains to develop, for you not to lose attention in the classroom, for you to be able to grab and understand what is being taught to you, and for you to be able to reproduce and also to apply it in real life for national development. So now, if we know why nutrition is important, and we know why we have even gone through the pain of recruiting nutritionists and matrons and other staff to be able to deal with the nutritional needs of the children, why is it that we are now starving the children when we give them porridge without bread? We give them porridge without sugar and milk. We ask them to go and look for their own sugar. We give them food without eggs. I mean, eggs was a common thing in school. When we were in school, boiled egg, it was common. Breakfast, bread, tea, boiled egg, very common. Bread, tea, margarine, boiled egg, very, very common. Where are those? And you see, it comes back to the conversation we had some months ago about the price of a bag of maize that had ballooned from 350 and gone past the 600 mark. We made it. I remember very well, I spoke about kinkenomics here. People said you are anti-government. But we all know that the chicken feed is largely dependent on maize and sometimes the soya and a wild mix of things. Now, surprisingly, all those 5 things, maize, soya, sorghum, millet, they are products, supposed to be products of planting for food and jobs. So if we have invested money to plant, and yet we can't find the food to even feed ourselves. When you talk about food inflation on the market, they tell you, oh, it's the market women who are busy trying to, pad the prices and all of that. This Monday I'm asking people, where the child day? Where the child day? The food that the children have to eat. Where the child day? The child, where they? The child, where the child day? Because when you promise that, after denying for a long time, you promise that finally food will get to the schools yesterday. That's Tuesday. Today is Wednesday. The schools still do not have the supply. Now, take yourself out of the ministry. Take yourself out of the department and agency and put yourself in the shoes of those children who have had to deal with hunger situation in the schools. The understanding we have is that some of the children are being fed in the morning, there's no lunch, and then there's supper. The parents themselves have been saying it. When we said it, that there are some schools where they have only rice. So in the morning it's rice porridge, in the afternoon it's jollof, and then in the evening it's plain rice with stew. People came and said we are anti-government, we're trying to make the government unpopular. So now what Dr. Yao Duchum and his PRO and all the people at the ministry are trying to tell us that they are the interventions they are putting in place. Are they also lying? And the painful part is that I have heard some PTA chairmen trying to mobilize parents to support them to feed the children. But then again, we do know that part of free SHS is that keep the parents at bay. We will take care of everything. At this time, can we sit and have a proper collaboration with parents? Because the parents cannot take food to the schools of the children every single day. They can't take food to every single day. They can't do that. If I have a child who is attending maybe in Fanspem or maybe St. Augustine's College or maybe at the Sada College in Cape Coast, I live in Accra. How do I take food to the person every day? And you heard some of the parents, the children are now stealing from each other's chow boxes. So we are teaching them thievery. We are teaching them thievery. And when these are issues that will come back to bite us in the next 20, 30 years. Because what kind of patriotism are you giving to the children? That kind of spirit are you giving to the children? What are we doing? What are we doing? What kind of patriotism are we shaping the minds of the children to have? Food is a basic necessary of life. Let nobody kid you. Danny, take me to the Greek Ministries website. In the first administration of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we had an agric minister who is still at post. We had a deputy in charge of crops. We had a deputy in charge of livestock. We had a deputy in charge of horticulture. We had a chief director. About 5 people at the ministry, agric ministry alone. Aside that, we set up the Crop Development Authority. Now here we are, and this is our honorable minister for what do you call it? Our honorable minister for agric. Danny, look for the deputies for me quickly. Let's show our deputies as well. And we seem to be piling all the pressure perhaps on the Ministry of Education. But the Ministry of Education, sorry, does not grow food. The food growth and the planting and harvesting is supervised by the Ministry of Agric. This is our Deputy Minister for Agric, Honorable Yao Frimpong Addo. Now, Honorable Yao Frimpong Addo, for example, had told us that we had banned the exportation of cereals. Twice last year, we had banned it so that we will have enough food where the cho day. That's the first one. And they show me the other deputy, quickly. There's another deputy, Honorable Alhaji Hadi Tuferu. This man is also a deputy. And I'm showing you the people who have been given the position to be able to solve our challenges. And the challenges persist. And they are not even talking to us. That's the painful part. They are not even talking to us. Then he played the PRO's video for me. My good friend Kwesi Kwati, play his video for me quickly.
Various senior high schools across the country, however, revealed that the food supplies have still not reached the institution.
That, as I indicated, we are transporting the food today. I made checks with Buffer Stock and understand they are doing some packing, which ultimately we believe that the food should hit the various schools hopefully by this evening. Of course, I mean, I understand the transportational constraints and the unforeseen contingencies, but it is expected that hopefully today we get it. So we are very hopeful, but of course, I mean, you don't control all the indicators or all the variables. And so when you are planning, you leave some level of window around it.
Until this food shortage issue is fully resolved, students remain.
And I told you that over the weekend I was at a secondary school in Accra. The children were walking with their shirts over their shoulder. And I asked them where they were going. They said they were going to look for food. It's a situation across the country. Let nobody put a white veneer on it because it puts us off. I have 2 children I take care of in secondary school. And I say the amount of money I spend, I say free SHS is a good policy. But the amount of money I spend, in fact, as of last year, you remember that there was a botched situation where the children were asked to go to school. I think it was the 5th of May last year. They were told to go to school. They got to school. I picked a taxi from here. They got to Cape Coast, only for them to be told that the school is not operating or teachers are on strike or they are not supposed to come. And then they came back. So 300 in, 300 out. And then when they officially opened, another 300 in, another 300 out. For the whole of 2020, they were at home. We paid for extra classes. So if you quantify how much we spent as caretakers and parents and guardians, that's too much. But I'm saying that, how did we arrive here? We arrived here because government said, parents, stay off. We will do this for you. If at some point government is finding difficulties, why not bring the parents in? Why would you rather decide that you are shutting down the teachers, and in some schools you are even preventing the press from getting there to report what the situation is? If you are looking for solutions, the first point is to diagnose the problem properly. But you are hiding behind it, shutting down the teachers, shutting down the matrons, shutting down everybody. How do you find a solution to the problem? And yet children are hungry. When young people like that become hungry, we are talking, see something, say something. They become susceptible to all manner of things. Now they are stealing from their chore boxes. You are growing thieves. You promised that the food was going to get there yesterday. Where the chore day? Buffer stock. Do they have food? Planting for food and jobs. Where is the food we planted? If we planted, we harvested, the minister going around the country and in other places telling people he's a champion, where the show day. And I'm asking this on behalf of many parents, because you see, for some parents who may be teachers, for example, who are asking for 20% COLA, you are not giving them the COLA. Their expenses are becoming more, because now, aside taking care of themselves, they would have the trouble of trying to prepare food, which will cost them money to take to their children. These same parents will have to deal with other, stuff. Utility bills possibly going up, petrol, all of those things going up. That's why I said, let's not politicize agric in this country. Agric, education, health, security, energy, don't go there. But the moment we decided to politicize education, and free SHS took center stage, instead of seeing it as a national policy, we saw it as a party policy. And we were busy regurgitating, and 1,200 children have been put in schools, and then this is the success rate they have passed. But we know that we bought past questions for the children. At how much? The monies we spent for past questions, couldn't we have used it to buy food for them? We went through the system. Who bought us past questions? Because we want to be populist about everything. And we should bow down our heads in shame, because if you cannot feed your children, then you are an apology. If children cannot be given 3 cedis at that young stage, even 97 pesos, you have not paid. You are an apology. And I say this without apology. I'm saying until a people can feed themselves, those people have not developed. And as it stands now, where you have kept children hungry for all these years, come on. We can't do this. Come on. Where are the children of the policymakers? Is the minister's children in school? The PRO, is his children in school? The deputy ministers, do they have their children there? They don't even attend the schools that they are pushing down your throats and telling you that everything is golden there. They don't go there. They don't attend those schools. Some of them are in this country. They go to the international schools and they push your children there. Traffic light schooling. I'm told that the 4 months are home. After how many weeks of school? We all went through the system. That's the thing we see. So what kind of quality are we building for the future? Even with the 3 years of secondary school, people were struggling. Now, I'm not sure if it's 3 years, it's 2.5, it's 1.5, it's 1.25. I don't know what it is. There are no textbooks. The school system is bazaar. There's no food. What are we doing? What are we doing? Really, what are we doing? And it hurts me because you will still find people defending it. When you were in school, those of you who defend, when you were in school, if that was what happened to you, would you have been a bank manager by now? I'm asking you, would you have been an economist by now? Would you have had a job? Even people who have first-class degrees can't find a job. They have to hold placards and stand by street corners to get jobs. And then common food for children to eat. We can't find them food to eat. Their parents have to go and give them food to eat.